One of the hardest truths ever, at least in my opinion, is if you don't know what love means to you, you most likely will go your entire life chasing love, and unfortunately, you may never end up actually finding it.
Clarity is a superpower. Emilia and I did a Relationship Talks free virtual event last night, 2 nights ago, while you're listening to this. And there was a slide that said, love is blank. The slide also said quality time means blank. And it was important for me to see how hard it is for us to define what love means to us.
Next Level Nation today for episode number 2043. What does love actually mean to you? Yes, we're doing 2 love episodes back to back. This may come as a surprise to you. Alan Lazaros. I used to be super needy.
Excuse me, that's Aaron Lazaros?
Aaron Lazaros. Alan received an email and it said, I would like to introduce you to Aaron Lazaros. So that's what we're, Jeff, Aaron, Alan, he will reply to all those. I think back to a time where I was so scarce. I was so afraid of being alone because I didn't love myself at all that I thought love was attention. I thought love was proximity. I thought love was probably those 2 things. I think back to when I would have a partner and I could not spend a day without them. It was like, how is that even a thing? Like, how could I even exist without this person around me? And obviously going back to the red flags episode, that's a huge red flag. Now, I would probably say I think it's probably support. I think that's what love means to me, support. I tell Taryn all the time, she'll be like, hey, I'm going to go out with a friend or whatever. It's like, babe, you could go out every night. You're fine. You're good. You do your thing. I'm good. I'm centered. I'm grounded. You do your thing. I'll be here when you get home. But I don't really need a ton of attention. I just like support when needed. And I think there's something about that. I used to want people to save me. I think that's what I used to want. I used to want somebody to be able to save me. Now, I just want somebody to support me and somebody to listen. And then that's a whole different conversation. Well, what does support mean?
From what?
Probably myself. Yeah, probably myself. If I could find someone that loved me, that must mean that all the things that I think that are wrong with me aren't wrong with me. I think it was probably that more than anything. Yeah. Deep. I remember when we used to go, so Alan and I grew up in the same town. There was this place called the Town Park. And we used to party up there. I never partied with Alan up there, I don't think. At least not knowingly at the same time. Who knows? Might have been some ragers going on.
No, I don't think so.
No.
The ragers happened at my place.
Yeah, they did. I was never invited to those. I used to run away from my friends because I wanted someone to come after me. That was like a thing. And I never connected the dots till later in life. It was like, why did I always run away? And I would be so sad when nobody came to find me. Like that was it. So I think I wanted somebody who would just be around me. I wanted somebody who, for me, I think attention and caring was what I would have defined love as. What would old Alan define love as? I'm going deep today.
Yeah. These are different than what we've been doing lately. We talk about the Fortune 500.
The Fortune 500, yes.
Fortune. Beatness. I was on a podcast recently where we talked about, it was healed men. It was about healed men. Men with therapists, men who do the inner work.
Love that.
And he had asked a question about me in the past and all this kind of stuff. And way back, I don't know what I would have defined love as back then. My first serious girlfriend, we were together for 4.5 years off and on. And for anyone out there who is listening, some of you may be from college. I've been speaking at a college recently, WPI. I don't recommend being, and again, this depends on the person, obviously. If I could go back in time, I would try my best to communicate to younger Alan, hey, you're going to college. She's not. She's 2 years younger than you, 3 years younger than you. And 3 years back then is a big deal. 3 years now isn't as big of a deal, obviously, because of the exponential curve of learning and maturity. Emilia's 6 years younger than me. She's 30 and I'm 36. And she's more mature at 30 than I was at 30, so I can barely tell. Only every now and then with certain references can I tell. Oh, yeah, that's right. You didn't have no internet. You know. But anyways, so I would say, Alan, it's probably a mistake for you to try to make this relationship work in college. I really think you should go explore and learn yourself and learn about people and learn different cultures and international, different ethnicities. You need to go be free and you need to go learn and expand. And so what did love mean to me back then? We were trauma bonded. What do I mean by that? We both had very high, what's called ACE scores, adverse childhood experiences. And what love meant to me back then was probably physical touch.
Mm.
It was very sexual. And it was my paradigm back then. So for those of you who don't know what paradigm means, paradigm is your unconscious belief about what life is about. My paradigm back then was achievement first and foremost, always. Still kind of is in many ways. And the ones that are not anymore is friends and fun. So it was achievement, friends, and fun. So naturally, I had a ton of friends. I had a ton of fun. And I achieved a lot. Hence all my awards in the background. Many awards. But anyways, so when I got in my car accident at 26, my paradigm changed. And I realized that the paradigm that I grew up in was friends and fun. Achievement was true to me. Still is, always will be. We talked about that on the last episode. Work ethic, work ethic, work ethic, work ethic, work ethic, work ethic. Forever. Achievement forever. But the friends and fun thing was never true to me. That was what I grew up in. My mom and stepdad loved to party. And I'm talking party. And some of that was awesome. And some of that was fucking terrible. But my first girlfriend had a family with the similar paradigm. And so we had that paradigm together. It was about friends and fun, and we partied together, and physical touch. So we had a very good sexual relationship. We were very attracted to each other. And I think that in hindsight, and again, this is me speaking from only my perspective, and I've since actually reconnected in my mid-20s with this person and just reflecting, late 20s actually. And I think that she saw me as an opportunity to achieve more because she saw that I was an achiever and that I was very bright and smart and all that. And I think on some level, that's what she always wanted, was someone who could take her out of the environment she grew up in, which was not good. And I think I saw in her, she was extremely attractive. All the guys wanted her. And we had a very good sexual relationship. And she was a lot of fun, and we had a lot of fun together. And I think that that's what love meant to me back then, is someone who needed me and someone that I needed. And I think being desired and being needed. After 26, my paradigm shifted, and what love means to me now is building toward a bigger, better, brighter future. That is, I playfully joke with Kev behind the scenes, like, have you ever had a conversation with me that wasn't about personal development or goals or dreams or building toward a bigger, better, brighter future?
When we used to record late night and watch Friends, we would get McDonald's and watch Friends. So yeah, a couple times we've had conversations that weren't about growth.
Yeah. And most likely it was about movies or potentially Friends, which was, by the way, one of my favorite shows was Friends back in the day because of my paradigm of friends. I had friends of friends, high school friends, college friends, corporate friends. I brought my high school friends to college, my college friends to corporate, and I did the traditional path. Preschool, kindergarten, middle school, high school, college, corporate. And then I got in a car accident, and that changed everything for me. But what love means to me now is building toward a bigger, better, brighter future and being the change I wish to see in the world. That is my love language to a T. And Emilia and I, we just did an episode on the Conscious Couples podcast about this, and I asked her what love means to her. This was the Relationship Talks event we were on. And hers is growth. Growth equals love. The one thing about Emilia that never changes is that she's always evolving. That's why her company is called Evolve Ventures. And she and I now, our paradigm is achievement, build. I mean, she and I have conversations now about our unborn children. Regularly. She asked me last night, what are you going to do as a father when our kids are having an emotional experience? And most kids aren't used to seeing men cry and have emotions. And I'll provide a little context and then I'll pass it to you. One of my clients sent me a clip of a comedian named Bill Burr. And she's a therapist, and one of her clients sent it to her. And it's a really funny excerpt. It's 8 minutes. And it's really hilarious because he's basically poking fun at the fact that there's 2 modes men are allowed to have: angry or fine. And how everything in between you're not, and how most men are just deeply sad and they're not allowed to say it or whatever because then they get made fun of by other guys. And he's playfully joking about it, but it's also really depressing because the statistics from my current understanding is that middle-aged men are the most likely to commit suicide. And I think the reason why is these quarter-life crisis moments that you and I had young. You wake up and realize that you've never dealt with your trauma, never dealt with your shit, because men are taught to just fucking bury it and not have a diary and not have emotions. And obviously you and I have broken that cycle, considering we cry often, although I'm due for one.
Same.
I spent my entire 11 years with my stepdad, never once saw him cry. My mom never saw him cry except for once at his mother's funeral. And so this is just a thing. It's men aren't supposed to cry type of thing. But anyways, to bring it back to my point of this episode, what love means to you is very important to figure out because there's implications that ripple into your life way beyond your intimate relationship. NLU listener, what is happening? I just wanted to jump in here and let you know, if you want to get to the next level faster, we have a free virtual monthly meetup at the first Thursday of every month. You can connect with like-minded people and become a bigger part of this amazing global community. The link to register will be in the show notes.
I think if it's the thing that jumped off the page when you were talking is I think when love equates to significance, it can be used against you. And I think it can be used against you in a lot of different ways. But the other thing that jumps off the page for me is safety. Love is safety for me. That's...
Well, what's safety for you?
What's safety? Certainty?
Okay, what creates certainty?
I think it's like it's obviously it's a fine line. It's like you don't have to be anything more than you are currently. In terms of like, if you had a rough day, it's okay. It's okay to have a rough day. Like, you're safe here. You're good. You're good. You're going to have imperfect moments and we'll figure them out together. Like that I think that's what safety means to me. I've had a lot of people ask, like, oh, didn't you want to like be married to an entrepreneur? Fuck no. God, no. No, I'm out here fighting the good fight every day. I don't want to turn it off, but I want to go home where it's warm. Like, I feel like I'm out fighting the fight in winter every day. I want to go where it's warm. That's what love is to me. It's warmth, it's safety, it's nourishment. Because out here, when we're doing business and business, we're doing business.
Business.
A little behind the scenes, Alan and Kev. Sorry, man. A little behind the scenes, Aaron and Kev. It's brutal out here. Like you work a 16, 17, 18-hour day. I want to go to warmth. I want to go to safety. I want to go to my warm spot. And I think that's what love is. It used to be, what's the word I'm looking for? Oh, I can't think of it.
Let's have an honest conversation for a
Sure.
second. You and me real quick.
Yeah, okay.
Young men want to be with the hottest girl.
Yeah.
That's a thing.
I think most men want to be with the hottest girl.
Yeah. And it's unfortunate because the dynamic that happens there, and again, I get it. Like, I'm not making it wrong. Like, I'm grateful Emilia's gorgeous, of course. But I get immature human beings tend to cling to significance, statistically. Okay, don't villainize me for this. This is just statistically speaking. And if you look at the statistics and you research shame and you research all this stuff, what you find is that women's number one form of shame is body image. 2 guesses why, when the whole world is valuing only that, especially in your early formative teenage years. And for men, it's financial. So a man that is unsuccessful is a fucking loser, apparently. And that's just a cultural thing. And I think there's also biological roots and evolutionary roots. Like, I get it, hunters and all that. What I think is important is just to understand all this. I'm not trying to make it right, wrong, or indifferent. What I am saying is, what does love mean to you? I think when we were younger, Kev, love meant the hottest girl.
Significance.
Yeah, and
honestly, I don't know if I even loved those people. I don't think I did. I mean, that's always a weird thing. Like, when does it go from I like you to I love you? Like, what does that even mean? What's the definition of that? And I think I don't know. I don't know if I ever loved anybody before Taryn.
I have a next level lesson. That's something, by the way.
I think
didn't mean to just glance over that.
No, you're good. I think it's true. I think it's true.
Whoa. But then there's levels. It's like, know you, like you, trust you, love you. It's this whole thing. It's levels.
I'm not with Taryn because I feel like she is going to give me something that I don't have. It's like, it's different. It's different. Every other relationship, it was like, what can I get? Like, what am I going to get here? It's not like that. I think that's different. It's different now.
The metaphor that I use for this, and again, it's not something that I usually talk about, and I know you anymore because I'm always talking about relationships on CCP, but I think that in early life, particularly in high school, when you're a fucking loser like I was, it's significance-based. It's you feel so insignificant, and you feel like you need significance, so you're clinging to that. So who can be the strongest, or who can be the smartest, or who can be the best at sports? And anytime you show a lick of emotion, your buddies are like, oh, you're fucking insert toxic word here. And anytime I remember when I was in track and field, I had shin splints because I grew like a foot in a single year. So from sophomore year in high school to junior year, I basically grew a foot. I went from like 5'2" to 6'2". It's crazy.
Wild.
Growth spurt. Finally hit puberty, kind of. And all my friends said I had baby syndrome because my shin splints were so bad that I would take track off, and they said I had baby syndrome. They all laughed.
Very creative. That's a very creative diss.
Yeah, for sure.
Come up with something better than that.
For sure. And that's just what guys do. And so instead of saying, hey, that's kind of mean and you're being a asshole, you just bury it and say, one fucking day. One day I'll show you baby syndrome, motherfucker, right? And then you just get really driven, and you get straight A's and maybe go to college. It's not.
We've turned up the swearing. We've turned up the swearing here a lot lately.
Got to every now and then. So what I've come to understand is that when you're younger, you're needy. You're finding a way to meet your needs. You don't know how to meet your needs. You don't even know who you are yet. And so the relationship meets your needs. And then you become a whole adult who matures, hopefully, and improves themselves. I don't think true love is I need you. I think that's romantic, and I think that's dramatized in Hollywood, and I think I need you, you complete me, all that stuff. I think what is actually more accurate is the whole is greater than the sum of its parts, meaning I am a complete man and Emilia is a complete woman, and we are better together than we are apart. And we don't need each other, but we do want each other. In the past, I was in a relationship out of need. I'm not in a relationship out of need anymore. I'm in a relationship out of want. I don't need to spend every day with Emilia. I fucking want to. Whereas in the past, there were times where I felt like it was more need-based than actually want. And I think that true abundance is not, I need Kevin, I need Emilia, I need Kevin to be a certain way. No, it's, I want to be business partners with Kevin, and I want to be married to Emilia. And that's where we're headed. I know I speak in the future as if it's already, but that we've already talked about it. The point is, if you're still in that needy place and your relationship is out of that scarce sort of oxygen leaving the room, that can be really detrimental long term.
You ever think, like, what if oxygen has stopped being? I think about that all the time.
That would not, Interstellar, man. The oxygen was going and they had to leave the Earth. Have you seen Interstellar?
No, probably not.
Oh my goodness, man. I mean, I'm joking. I'm not trying to judge you.
No, you can judge me for my
Christopher Nolan, Interstellar. I mean,
Titanic's the best movie ever made. I don't
Interstellar is world class.
Titanic's the best movie ever made.
Titanic's world class as well.
Yeah, it's a great movie.
Yeah,
this would be my next level lesson. To your point, I think growing up, most of us would define love as our deepest desire / the thing that we didn't have that we needed the most. I think the goal is to evolve that. And I think when we get stuck behind, or we don't evolve, and we don't grow, and we don't do the inner work, that stays what we think we want forever.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's necessarily true. I don't know.
Sometimes you have to get it to realize that, ain't it?
Of course. Well, it's a Band-Aid. Yeah, cool. Okay, when you're with that person, everything is whole. But when you're not with that person, it's not. That's not sustainable.
No.
That's not sustainable at all. So going back to the previous episode, that's a red flag. So I would say, if you don't know what love means to you, maybe a place to start is, what did you feel like you needed the most? And maybe that will be a string that you could pull, and you'll get some answers from there. Because at the end of the day, going back to Alan's very beginning, the opening of this, clarity is such an important component. It's such an important component. That's why jumping from one relationship to another relationship is so dangerous, because you don't give yourself time to learn the lessons that you would have learned if you just sat by yourself for a while. And who knows? There's a ton of lessons. So that would be my next level lesson. What is yours, sir?
Yeah.
And we'll get you out of here, because I can tell you got to pee.
Yeah, I do. Thank you for that.
Yep, of course.
I want everyone thinking about themselves, but I had a breakthrough when Kevin was talking, which was when I was in high school and I met that first girlfriend, I needed someone who understood my trauma, who had been through really hard times too. But that wasn't what I wanted. What I wanted was someone with huge goals and dreams, who was going to, through their own example, help me grow. And it's been a hell of a journey. So yeah, it's interesting. So who you start with isn't always who you end with. And that doesn't mean, for those of you who did meet your partner in high school or whatever it is, you can grow together. You can grow together. You're either growing together or you're apart. And that's what we do over at Conscious Couples Podcast. So my next level lesson is, the whole is greater than the sum of its parts if you have the right person and it's out of want and not just need. It doesn't mean you can't have some needs. It doesn't mean you can't meet each other's needs. It just can't be the only way you meet each other's needs.
Boom. All right, Next Level Nation, if you're looking for a group of like-minded humans who are into personal development, growth, evolution, self-awareness, all that happy jazz, we will have a link below for Next Level Nation. And Alan and Emilia do relationship talks coaching. So if you're somebody out there who maybe you're struggling with the past 2 episodes, looking past red flags and trying to figure out what love means to you, reach out to Alan and Emilia, because they will help you with that. As always, we love you. We appreciate you. Grateful for each and every one of you. At NLU, we do not have fans. We have family. We will talk to you all tomorrow.
Keep it next level. Next Level Nation.